Chord it!
Ah!
I want to see some magical chords.
Okay, remember how much this deck moves?
Wobbles and wobbles.
Everybody?
Alright.
Are we ready?
I'm not answering any
Alright.
questions.
Why have you not come to Utah in support of Feathergun yet?
We're headed there, aren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
we will be in
Yeah.
Utah in 3 months.
August.
Yeah.
Yes, good question, but we're headed there.
Alright. What software synth did you use to create the intro for Scissor Lips?
I used Reason, I believe. Reason, yeah.
Any Texas states?
Texas.
That's a good question, Ari.
It
We're
should be
hoping,
on the, not this coming tour, but the next tour.
or,
Which we're planning for when?
well, we were planning for South by Southwest.
So that's
Spring.
So,
spring. It's
March.
ways off.
Spring of
So it's,
2011.
yeah.
Unless we get
It's always
a
away.
lot of money handed to us.
I mean, if you got a lot of money and you just want to mail it.
A big envelope of cash.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That could help.
Preferably in all-in-ones.
But no, we're, small band, so we, do what we can when we can do it, and we really try to reinvest ourselves every opportunity that we get. We obviously aren't, spending all of our money on fun, crazy Ferraris and things like that.
Well, sometimes we do.
Sometimes.
I've only got 2 Ferraris so
Yeah.
far, so.
Well, you're kind of, poor,
Right.
so
yeah.
I wouldn't want to. You probably shouldn't buy any more than that.
Your artwork style looks very similar to Dredge's artwork style. Any affiliation or inspiration?
Oh man, that's tough. I personally don't know what Dredge's artwork style looks like, so.
Yeah.
I mean, the only things that I've seen of theirs was a poster I got from a show we went to, and
Oh,
I don't think it looks
Yeah.
remotely close, but
It was kind of line art style, but
That was also their most commercial probably
Those-
album.
yeah, that was on
Catch Without
Catch
Arms.
Without Arms,
Yeah.
so.
but
no,
no.
I'm not influenced at all by Dredge's visual art. Their music's amazing, though.
What's your favorite song off Feathergun when playing live so far?
Sean.
I like
let's say
Feathergun.
Feathergun.
Feathergun's my favorite song to play. Feathergun in the Garden of the Sun.
Yeah.
Weevil Bride is pretty
Bride.
close.
Weevil Bride.
Yeah.
Weevil Bride and
Pretty
actually
fun.
Scissor Lips
Yeah.
for me.
I really like Katsushika.
And Diamond Eyes.
We try not to play Katsushika because we don't like Sean to have his way.
Yeah, he shouldn't enjoy
I'm
anything.
the bastard child.
I like Scissor Lips, Diamond Eyes from for how meaningful they are to me. I like other songs more for their energy and other reasons and so forth. But
What song was most difficult to write the lyrics to?
God, what did we have? I don't know. I'd say Feathergun probably.
I would say so too. That
Because
was
Feathergun was the first song we started working
and the
on.
last one that we finished.
after Eidolon, and the last one that we finished. It
Yeah.
took forever. It was
It was just really a struggle to sort out where exactly that was headed,
yeah.
because I think the lyrics for the verses were written. We rewrote that song a few
Oh,
times.
so many.
Actually.
I mean, we had the original idea was, lyrically, the guitar riff was the same, but the lyrics were entirely
Well, a lot of the
Well,
music
yeah,
had changed.
The music changed quite a
different.
bit
And
too.
oh, of
Yeah,
course,
you
the
know,
music changed.
Countless times.
Yeah, we didn't finish the music until pretty soon before we went into the studio.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was.
a hard
I'm glad I made it.
Yeah.
We
Turned
got
out
to a
good.
point where we're like, okay, this is cool. No, let's change it again.
Yeah.
Change it again. Change it
And
again.
then it finally passed the mustard.
Because there was no ketchup.
Yeah.
None of that ketchup.
Right.
No Dijon mustard though.
We'll cut that out.
Shit. Whatever.
Pass the mustard. Who says that?
Okay. Do you pay any attention to Last FM? And if so, do half the people on there who insist on comparing every remotely experimental band to other bands like Tool annoy you as much as it does me?
People are allowed to do what they want.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
are going to think what they think.
I mean, what really matters isn't the people the people that hate you matter almost as much as the people that love you, except for the fact that the people that love you, you're going to see 10 years down the road, and the people that hate
And they
you
keep backing you up.
yeah, for whatever menial reasons that they hate you, are just going to spread the word of a band they hate, you know, and people are going to hear your name. So if they think that we sound like a band that they respect and they don't like us because of that, that's fine. You know, they're still going to tell their friends they hate us, and maybe their friends will check it out and disagree. So,
What kind of writing process do you guys usually use? Do you write the lyrics first and music, or music and lyrics?
We usually play Plinko.
Plinko?
Yeah. Or Pachinko, or whatever the hell that shit's called.
Plinko on.
We write
Price is
words.
Right.
We write words on balls and just drop them randomly down a little ding 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 ding, and then we pick them all up at the end and like whatever order they come out in.
we
That's how
drop
you do it.
words down an onomatopoeia.
Yeah, yeah, and then we use an anagram to decipher their encoded meaning to write the lyrics.
I was not let in on that
I've
one.
never
Oh.
been there during this process, so left
It
out.
starts various ways.
What are you talking about?
Doesn't it? It starts various
Yeah,
ways.
it does.
Sometimes it starts with a lyrical idea, and then the song will like tell us, not literally, obviously, but it will direct us into
I
like.
think you should say sandwich. Jeez.
That's actually me in the background. Not saying we should say sandwich, but hey, can we get a sandwich, guys?
Yeah, that's. I think I mean
forget where I was.
there's
going.
sometimes lyrical ideas, sometimes there's Dave will bring guitar ideas in, and we start with that and kind of just jam out on it.
Which is generally the case.
Yeah.
It usually starts. with
the
a
music.
guitar idea, and then sorts itself out through the music, and then the lyrics come
Yeah.
last.
Sometimes it's as few as little as like a few chords and just a concept of some kind, a visual idea of some kind. Like I saw this image in my head of this happening or this person or whatever, and that's kind of our springboard for where we go. But it's definitely a very organic kind of just
It has
shade
become
grown.
so. It didn't start out that way, but it
Yeah.
has become so. I think that comes from spending a lot of time with your project, is that it becomes less masturbation.
Well, what does the pattern fix the pocket of the palindrome?
Oh, that's a great line. I wrote that line.
Yeah, you did.
Who wrote that line?
Dave did.
You wrote that line?
I don't know. That was one of those things that we were working really hard on downhill for a long time, and then one night we all were in this space and we started just jamming on this one part, and it totally changed its direction and went into that. And I think we finished that. The song had been like stretching for so long to get finished, and we finished it that one night, and then we just wrote all the lyrics and melodies within the next few days, and that stuck out to me. It just came to me, and sometimes the music tells you what it's about, as opposed to you telling the music what it's about, and that was one of those instances.
Yeah, I think that's a really good example of a time where the meaning it's almost kind of too abstract and it's got too much to say of its own right, that for us to really attach any kind of personal association to it. It's sometimes music is not, we don't just write and put it out there. Sometimes we write and it gives back to us, and that's been a really, I think, gratifying experience for our process. Is just that sometimes we put things down and we go, I don't know, this sounds really cool and really interesting to me, and it really resonates, but I can't pin down like a specific, legalese meaning of what this is. It just feels cool, and then it changes and it grows with you, and I think that's been a really amazing thing about being in this band, and that process is just that it grows as you do. So the meaning is always relevant. It's a lot easier for us to write songs that we like, down the road, because we won't just like, oh, this is what I felt at that time, and now it's irrelevant to me. It can change and adapt as you do. So.
Yeah, the Beatles weren't available for me to ask what their lyrics meant, so I really enjoyed trying to make up my own reasoning for what they were talking about, which probably was nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of
You know,
the fun
but-
of it, though. It's just part of the fun of the art and fun of the music is just making up your own.
Like 2 years down the road, I completely forget what songs were written about, and I listen to them again, because we play them so much, and then you're like, make up your own meaning
Yeah,
again,
it's a new,
because it means something else that far.
Exactly.
I think that's what makes it art and not just a product, And then if you start making songs where you're just like, it's about this, or it's about that, then it's one-dimensional and it's very time sensitive. It's like this idea and this concept is only really valid in these set of specific circumstances. And when you can't take it out of that, like, I really think you're taking something away from the art, because the art will outlive any of us, and so what does it really matter, in the end, like what we thought about, what we were thinking about it when we actually wrote it. It's going to change, we're going to change, times will change, people will change, but it'll still be there in the way that it was when we created it, and there for people to take whatever interpretation is really meaningful to them.
Could we hear earlier versions of the songs
No.
before they've gone through any of the process? No?
We write,
That's an easy question. No.
we start off with the keytar.
Well, that's actually kind of a question. Who plays the piano? Who does the piano tracks?
I did the piano on Downhill.
Do you know if our Lollapalooza Spam Assault worked?
Yes, it absolutely
I
worked.
think it
The fact
definitely.
the fact that anybody paid,
Well, I think
paid
Perry
any
Farrell
attention
even
to it.
Perry Farrell even said something
Yeah,
about
he
it.
he
Yeah.
definitely commented.
I mean, it
He was
doesn't
like-
mean
on the
that he'll
response.
remember us or that anybody past that will remember it, but
It made an
the
impact.
fact that people were active about it,
Yeah.
yes, it definitely fucking worked.
What matters is that everybody went on there and backed us
Took
up
a
and supported
5
us.
seconds
Yeah,
to
that
say
was awesome.
something.
And said, hey, this band should be, I like these guys. They should be playing here. Like that.
that should be done
that's-
for every artist that you enjoy.
that you
know?
believe
Yeah.
in. And if we did that,
Definitely.
I don't think we'd have a, such a thriving industry of crap. I mean, it's just, if people were really just supporting
Well,
the
yeah,
things they
because
really
mostly
value.
it's the the higher ups that are making
Right.
the choices for people as
Yeah.
opposed to
Right.
the voice of the people
do you-
having their way.
Do you choose your art, or does your art, do you just listen to what's given to you? You
Right.
know?
Pass the mustard.
Do you guys use, speaking of your writing up there a little bit, do you guys use automatic writing a lot? Some of your lyrics seem to not make sense to me.
I'm not quite sure what automatic
Oh,
writing.
I think
that
they're
means
referring
just like,
to,
Um,
you just write.
wave of what is that
It's
called?
like
Just kind of a stream of thought?
stream of
thought.
consciousness.
Yeah,
Stream of
oh.
consciousness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To a degree,
I-
yeah.
I mean, like it usually starts out that way because it's like
Yeah.
what is the feeling of this song, and
Yeah.
who is or fuck that was
Automatic writing.
Yeah, a lot of time. I mean, the parts initially start that way, and as we develop the song, we think more critically of it and the parts and the words and kind of the meaning. But
the music starts out just as much of a mystery to us.
yeah,
Yeah.
As I would imagine that the first time you listen to the song, it starts out for the listener, but over time, it's not one of those songs that, it has the 4/4 beat. Most songs don't have the 4/4 beat, they're not immediately attachable, but over time, people develop a sense of understanding of what those songs mean to them, and that is exactly how it starts for us. It's a
Right.
mystery, it's weird and bizarre, and it's scary sometimes.
Yeah.
We don't always like how it starts, but it always ends up being something that we enjoy. So that's why we put it out. And
it's
Yeah.
comfortable.
It's like building a mystery, man.
Yeah, you just you have
tip your hat to Sarah McLaughlin.
you might have a very generic, very open-ended idea, and then you start just kind of fumbling around trying to say, how do I just okay, I feel this, I see this, I imagine this in such a very distinct and powerful way, and then you have this whole barrier of how do you translate that into language? How do you communicate this idea, knowing that there's inherent inaccuracy in any kind of communication, but how do you do that in a way that's still, even if it's not exactly what you see, that's still powerful for somebody else, that still matters to them, that's still going to be something they can revisit and enjoy later on. And so it really can take a lot of directions. We really don't put too many restrictions on what we're trying to say or do anymore. other than just to try and replicate, and express.
So
what
yes,
we
it
experience.
does sometimes start out as stream of thought,
Yes.
just like that.
Some of my friends won't buy your albums because they don't want their money to go to big corporations. They don't believe you're indie. What do you say about that?
Oh my God!
I-
They should
I
smell
wish-
our van.
Well, we are.
Yeah, we're so indie it hurts.
Fortunately and unfortunately
Yeah, I
Some
agree with
degree.
that statement. Fortunately and unfortunately.
fortunately, because we have absolutely every creative control over everything we do, but unfortunately that we can't tour, worldwide and get the funding that we can to
Not
access tons of people. Yeah, at least not yet.
yet. We will get
So,
worldwide.
Yes, we will.
in time. I mean, we're really trying to make strides to work our way to everybody and doing
Let's-
everything in our power to do that.
We're not a big band by any means, and every ounce of support that we get, however small, is extremely valuable to us. It breaks all of our hearts to not be able to come play for everybody that wants to be able to see us. And I can't tell you guys how much I want to visit Europe and visit Asia and visit so many different places that I've never been, and it's a huge part of the reason why I'm personally am doing what I'm doing. But we're gonna get there, and it's your guys' support that's gonna make it happen. So please just continue.
Yeah.
That's all we can say. We're gonna get there as soon as we possibly can.
Well, we know Perry Farrell thinks you're wicked. Somebody wicked.
Yeah.
Do you, other well-known musicians who like you guys as well?
Well, Deftones just put out an album
Called
called Diamond Eyes, but
Called Diamond
I
Eyes,
don't know
but-
that they've heard of us.
No.
yeah, I'm
Probably
not too
not.
sure.
Oddly
Although-
enough, it was what 3 months after
After we
release of
released our
our-
album, it was
No,
interesting.
I don't know. That would be up to them to say.
I doubt they do.
That would be just name dropping, even if we did know somebody that liked their stuff.
Would you ever consider recording a live album or DVD?
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
In time.
Yeah, it's an in time thing. It's one of those things that actually does require a lot of, to do it well, it requires a lot of thought, a lot of
Mhm.
production, a lot of money, so
Yeah.
we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Andrew's vocals, as well as the entire sound of the album, were very different in Feather Gun. A good example is the chorus from Diamond Eyes. It sounded different, but still good. Why make the change like that?
Why not?
Diamond Eyes.
I mean,
Good
I-
question.
I think it's
Diamond Eyes
really
definitely was a little bit more.
it's a different song, I guess, in some ways. But I mean, for me, I don't really feel like I've made a whole lot of conscious changes on Feather Gun, in so much as I've just really kind of tried to not hold myself to any kind of, this is all that I can do. This is my realm of singing that I'm capable of doing. And
Well, that's kind of like the band death,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like to
when you just
say, okay,
stop,
well, this is
yeah.
what we do,
this is
so
what
let's
I'm
just do
comfortable
this for
And-
so long.
And that's been really like, in a lot of ways, I feel like we're really. It's almost like a new beginning in some aspects, in the sense of just the freedom that I think we started to involve ourselves in Feather Gun, and being able to say, okay, well, we can really do what we want to do and have a great album as a result of it. Why pigeonhole ourselves in any way? Why restrict ourselves to one kind of musical idea or one kind of musical even genre in a lot of ways? Is let's explore and make it fit, make it Rishloo, but outside of that, do what we want to do.
We have a whole career ahead of us. Why just make it the same album over and over?
There's
And
so much
it's,
room to
you know,
grow.
It's so easy nowadays with your iPod to just skip over that song.
Yeah.
You know,
Too
you don't have to
true.
fast forward through the tape or the CD. Well, CDs skip too. God damn it!
It's so
But
easy
there's-
with your 8-track.
But with
just
your
hold
iPod,
down the
you
fast
can
forward
kinda,
button.
You can just like, or your MP3 player, whatever you endorse. You don't have to put that song on your player. Although I would suggest you listen to the whole album as a whole. But
Yeah.
if you're into that skip a song kind of thing, that's fine too.
you guys weren't Rishloo, what other band of all the current or past bands would you be?
13th floor elevators.
Well,
That's just too hard to
I have
answer.
no idea.
No.
I really don't.
I'd have to
know.
just come up with some kind of outrageous amalgamation of all the artists that I've ever
There's
appreciated.
just so many.
I couldn't pick one because there's
mean-
just so many things about different people that you value so highly.
Right now, what I'm listening to a lot, and I think would be really fun, is a mix between Pink Floyd and the Beatles and David Bowie. I think that'd be pretty rad. Just be
And
a hybrid
and
of all
Busta
those.
Rhymes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that feather.
yeah, of course.
I don't know. It's tough to classify one band because if that's the band that I wanted to be, that's the band that I would want to be instead of.
Yeah, I think that's
being
what
Rishloo.
I think that's what we are. We are
Yeah.
that band. We're the band that we're trying to be all those bands that we already love. You know, we're not like trying to completely imitate those bands, but to some extent, any artist that says they're not influenced or they're not like imitating somebody at some extent is lying. So that's what we are already. Is all those. That amalgamation of bands together.
Yeah.
We're trying to be.
Yeah.
Whether we sound like it or not.
You try to take, like, you know, you admire somebody for their passion, someone for their ability, another person for their, you know,
Raw
just
punkness.
yeah, just their
Yeah.
their
Is
attitude.
that a word?
Or their,
Punkness?
should be.
It is now.
Punkness.
It's recorded.
You know, somebody else for the intricacy and thoughtfulness of their lyrics. Somebody else for their just great grooves. You know, like there's so many bands doing so many interesting things to.
Having a rad flute in the band like Jeff McCullough.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, about that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
what do you think about people who can't afford to buy your CD and download them more?
Do it.
Download it.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. I mean, the only reason
not
that
piracy.
if you can, please buy our record.
Of course,
and,
yeah, obviously.
You know,
But otherwise, you know, if people are enjoying it and downloading it, I
listen
mean,
to it and
listening
share it
to
with
it.
to your friends, and if just say the same thing we said.
File sharing is a much better term, I think, than digital piracy.
Come out to
Yeah.
a show, buy a T-shirt.
It's
You know,
yeah.
that kind of thing is
You should
helpful
support
as well.
the things that you value. You shouldn't just support everything because it's there. You know, I mean, if you like a band, throw your weight behind it. If you like an artist, if you like a photographer, if you like a videographer, whoever it is, you know,
They
like
appreciate it. We all appreciate it. It's-
give them your support, but because you consciously choose to do that, because you value it.
the people
you
that
know?
scream about their music getting stolen are the people that already have a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
Yep.
none of
You
us
know?
are. We don't give a shit. Like we're not. You know, I mean, it would be
we're
great.
not suffering from it.
Don't get us wrong. It would be great to have that funding, like the additional money we make from
It
you know
does
things
help.
that we might be able to fund our own tour if we had been paid for every single album that someone had downloaded, you know, to overseas or something like that. But you
All
know,
those people
but
wouldn't have heard
they
it.
wouldn't have heard us in the first place. So I mean, it's kind of a paradoxical situation, and the bottom line is we really would value people being able to hear our art a lot more than people not being able to hear it and a few people paying us for it. It's just, you know, I don't know. This is the world we live in now. And,
Well, it
and
goes
it's
beyond
different.
people being able to hear us. It's people being able to be inspired by us.
Right.
You know, inspired by what we do, or you know, be somehow motivated to find some way to figure art out on their own. If you can actually even figure art out, which I
No.
don't think you can.
You can't.
Not if it's good.
That's all right.
I think that's kind of the point of it, though.
Yeah.
This question is for Dave. How long have you been playing the
They're
guitar?
all for me.
How long have you been playing the guitar?
Decade?
2,800 years.
15 years?
I was a little over.
Probably
Probably about
about
15.
13. I know it doesn't show, but I've been playing for a while.
Moshing or dancing? Which do you prefer at a concert?
You mean for us or for the people watching our concert?
Either or.
I like music, so I move to it. But, you know, the people that want to, you know, mosh and go nuts.
That's moving.
Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah,
people
but-
do at our shows,
Movement,
it's,
I think
you know,
it's
people
what
are getting
feels-
into it. People are.
What
Yeah.
feels natural to people? I mean, I don't think you should mosh just for the sake of moshing. I don't think you should dance just because everyone else is doing it. I think you should do what feels good to you at the moment. You know, know, if
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
mosh and run into people, cool. You know, like if that's
Just
what
enjoy yourself, you know.
how you express yourself at that time, then great. You know, but we're not. You know, we don't want to say know this or this is awesome. It's how do you interpret it? That's what's really important.
How was it to have Feathergun produced by Scott Olson, and what did you learn from this experience?
I liked working with Scott. It's the first time that we've worked with a producer
Yeah.
in general, and Scott brought a lot of previous knowledge that he had as an engineer to the project, and
I think we all learned quite a bit about the recording process. You know,
definitely,
much more so than we had in the past.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good.
It's
it
a
was
really
good
good learning
scenario.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite musicians besides each other?
I love Bowie. Bowie's my favorite artist. The Beatles. I think we share like I'll name some that we all share: Beatles,
Yeah.
Bowie, Deftones, Dredge,
Floyd.
Floyd,
Zeppelin.
obviously Floyd,
Zeppelin.
Yeah.
definitely Zeppelin.
That could be its own. I mean, that could really be its own. You know, video if we wanted it to be. Just
Yeah.
talking about all
But
the
like,
artists that
I
we
mean,
value.
I like Coco Rossi. I like fucking. What's
ISIS.
it? Yeah.
You know,
ISIS,
we
yeah.
all share a lot of similar influences and interests, but we all actually have our own little niches and genres that we listen to.
All right, where can I get guitar or bass tabs for Feathergun songs?
Honestly, nowhere probably.
Not
I mean, go
accurate
ahead and
ones.
try to tab it out yourself. I'm honestly way too lazy to tab any of that stuff.
I tabbed out all my vocals.
1 1 1 1 2 2 2 1 1 2 3.
1, 2, 3, A, 7, green.
I did put some effort into tabbing out Freaks and Animals and realized that if I were to tab out all the songs, I would go nuts, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, from time to time, I'll record a video and show people how to play certain songs, but that's the extent of it until we have somebody tabbing stuff
That's a
out
good
for us.
idea.
Did you intend for Feathergun to be more psychedelic album musically than your previous albums?
No, I mean,
I think it just goes back to, you know, we start writing a song and wherever it takes us, it takes us. You know, we don't really intend for it to be psychedelic, or
Well, it
we
doesn't-
don't intend for it to be heavy, really.
I think it has a lot to do more with like where we are in life than what we're doing in our songwriting process, and like not that we were more psychedelic in life or anything like that, but we were, or maybe we were.
I only wore starburst decorated outfits.
No, but just that's where we were for that period of time, as opposed to where Eidolon was. We were still trying to be in combat with ourselves over what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
True. I really enjoyed the infusion of keyboards in Feathergun. Do you enjoy playing them, and are you going to continue playing these in the future?
Yes, keyboards have been a lot of fun for me so far. I don't really know a whole lot about them, so it's been a very kind of steep learning curve for me to also learn to play the piano type instrument and also learn the software and all that crap that goes with it. But I really enjoy it. It's a fun experimental process, and hopefully I'll be decent enough at it that we can continue to use it in the future.
Thank you. What tunings do you guys play in?
X 12.
Depends on what song you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think Terrace Fames had the most diverse tuning stuff on it, and consequentially
That
was
didn't it?
Nightmarish to play live.
that, and also unnecessary to really play live, or like unnecessary to tune that way to play. We were just experimenting a lot with tuning, so
Yeah.
now I just play in flats with a low E tuned to D flat, so it's basically just flats with drop D.
Which is kind of weird because I play in regular tuning, but my E is in D. So
So that makes sense.
It makes sense, but it's like weird that I'm playing in regular and you're in flats.
I like the open strings to be flat for some reason.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite lyricist?
Too many to name.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I think they mostly span from like the 60s, like Dylan and Floyd, the Beatles, you know, that era. Even the Beach Boys had some really good lyrics.
David Bowie even had some pretty cool ones.
Absolutely.
Who does the artwork for Feathergun?
Dave and I do. So he usually starts out with the like initial sketches, and
John turns
kind
it
of
into Godzilla.
and I just turn it into a Japanese horror.
No, I draw all the artwork, and then me and Sean collaborate on how it should look as a composite, as a whole.
Kind of conceptualize everything, and kind of with the tone of the music, like what is the music saying, and how would it reflect the music visually.
How do you guys feel about global recognition you're getting? I'm in Mexico and you guys have a pretty solid fan base here. And do you feel fame will affect your interaction with your fans?
To an extent, absolutely. It will. The more recognition you get, the less you can interact with everybody. But I think like the general interaction will remain the same. I mean, we always want to be available to our fans. We always want to be able to interact with them. It'll just be like a wider base that we'll have to spread ourselves between. I mean, think of it this way: if you have 20 fans that come out to every one of your show, you can talk to every single fan, you know, for a period of time. But when you have 1,000 fans coming out to your show, there's no way to interact with those fans on the same level that you would be able to interact with 20 people. It's just impossible. You know, it'd be ludicrous to even try and claim we would be able to do that. The more that people want to spread the word. Now, if that encourages you not to like promote us to your friends, that's fine. You know, but we would hope that would not be the case. You know, because we're still desperately trying to maintain the level of fan interaction that we've always had, and it seems to be going well for us thus far. So
I think as the scope increases of your acknowledgement, the interaction necessarily becomes more brief. But I don't think that should impede upon the sincerity or the candor of that interaction. And if we can maintain that, I think that's really what's important. I would love to be able to talk to everybody meaningfully all the time, every single chance that we get. And right now, for the most part, we can. But, you know, eventually we'll get to a point where that's just physically impossible. And I hope that we can still keep the same level of honesty and value and appreciation for what our fans offer us and how they value us, regardless of whether we're playing in front of 10 people or 10 million. You know?
I think as far as the global recognition, I think it's been absolutely amazing, and I think it's been very inspiring to all of us to see people of many different cultures getting into what we're doing and, you know, truly enjoying it.
Have you ever used or thought about incorporating instruments such as cello or violin into your music?
absolutely,
Yeah.
love to. We'd
Yeah.
love to do something like
I
that.
used to play violin.
At this point, keyboard kind of has to suffice for any kind of
Yeah.
extra.
I think as much as we can do, you know, as
Studio-wise.
as we're able to do
Yeah.
it, studio-wise is a little
It's
easier.
different, yeah.
Live, it's going to be a while before we can afford to and have the infrastructure in place to support
those
that
things.
kind of a thing. But I'd love to do everything
That'd be
from
amazing.
strings to choruses to, you know, all kinds of stuff. Whatever fits with what we're doing. And it would be awesome to be in a place where you're really only limited by your own ability to conceptualize something and to conceive of an idea. And at that level, I think we'll be doing some pretty interesting things, and it'll be fun to experiment with, without so many financial restrictions.
Yeah.
So.
What is I Am Rishloo?
Basically, just draw people together as in the idea that everybody is to some extent the same. Inspired by good and bad. Whether it be inspired because you don't want to be that way, or inspired because that's a goal. That person's deeds influence you to do greater things.
It's a recognition of the fact that the world influences us, and that we influence the world, and that we should take an active role in our day-to-day existence, and sometimes not our day-to-day existence, sometimes bigger things as well, but that you can be involved in what's going on around you, and in a very important way in a lot of times. And so far it's been, somewhat attached to our band, but it's not solely about that. It's really just about the idea that people can express themselves and share their ideas, and that all those things are valuable, and that every idea is valuable.
You should have hopes and dreams,
Yeah.
and goals and visions and ideas and things that you want to accomplish and do.
And you should
it
share
shouldn't be-
those things with people.
Yeah, they shouldn't be just shelved.
It should be out there. If you
Because-
have a good idea, put it out there. See what happens with it.
And fight for it.
Fight for it. Yeah, make it. If you believe in something, you should support it. You should go out and try to make it happen. And this is just. It's. Have your own individuality, have your own concepts, and just understand the value in your own, identity and your own beliefs, and give that to people, and hopefully they will give back to you.
Pay it forward, bitch.
Yeah, bitches.
I think that camera's done too.
Yeah, that camera's in that camera.
It's got to be in the video where they're winking at each other during that
Winking?
speech.
Who's winking?
Sean and I.
I didn't notice.
Why were you winking? No, that's all. I don't know.
Okay, I'm all soaked in tonic, so let's go have a party.
Party. You can just close that.
Oh, you boys.
Here you go. I'm not-
Good job.
That's the
Good job.
thing is the button is in the position where
Awesome show.
Oh.
Great job. Awesome
You guys,
show.
great to have you on, you guys. It's been awesome.
I never got my water.
You guys are dicks, like people say.
Let's have
I'm gonna take this plan over.
For candidate positions.
What?
Hey, Drew, would you mind taking a picture?
What?
And then I'll take one with you.
I want some more
Paparazzi
pictures.
Hey man, look, the writer said we were getting 24 bottles of water, 6 bottles of Jack Daniels, 3 hookers, half pound of Coke, and a fucking and a giant bratwurst, and I haven't seen any of those.
Wow, that was like an accordion. It was
No!
like
I'm not sitting in that.
I'm wearing
Dana,
this.
Dana.
Bananas in pajamas.
Hey,
it is cold.
sit down.
Banana
You need to get a picture, okay?
in pajama.
Pajama.
Well, you get 2 seconds. 1, 2. And we're done. Thank you very much.
No, wait, 1 second. I swear, 1 second.